Patriots of Era, the truth will not be buried. After careful consideration and in the public interest, I have made a decision that I do not take lightly. Today, I am announcing the release of snippets of the Garda investigation and the High Court proceedings, including snippets of my grounding affidavits, the very documents that the High Court appears to be hiding from the public. My case is titled in the matter of the Electoral Act of 1992 as amended, and in the matter of an application for an order for inspection of the marked electoral register and sealed documents for the purpose of a Garda investigation, record number HIA 2025/103, between Michelle Keane, the appellant, and the Clerk of the Dáil and the Irish Government. It has now come to my attention that Irish Legal News misreported the case, citing an incorrect record number 2025 IEHC 349. This is not my case. This mistake must be corrected immediately. At no stage was I given that record number for my file. Is this an attempt, I ask Irish Legal News, to bury my grounding affidavits from the public? I will not be silenced. This is part one of a 4-part series videos that I am now compelled to release. The Irish people deserve to know the truth. Following the courageous statement made by whistleblower Senator Michael Kennelly, who confirmed in the Seanad what I had been saying for months, that election fraud took place in Kerry, I no longer believe that I can wait. Too many people have suffered in silence. Too many lies have gone unchallenged, and far too many in positions of power have turned a blind eye. Judge Emily Egan refused to act, so now the people must decide. Despite the evidence I presented, Justice Emily Egan refused to make any orders to allow inspection of the marked register and sealed ballot boxes, evidence that is now vital to the Garda investigation into the election tampering in Kerry and in Ireland. I say this with full conviction. A public inquiry must now be called. Those responsible for election fraud and those who aided and protected them must face prison. This is the first video of 4. Each one will lay out in my own words what the courts refuse to let the public see. My sworn affidavits contain explosive documented evidence of what really happened during the 2024 elections in Kerry. If we still, folks, believe in democracy, then we must defend it, even if the courts won't. To the Irish people, you deserve the truth. This is no longer just about my case. This is your case now. This is your vote, your democracy, your future. And I will not rest until the truth is known and the process is reformed from top to bottom. We are only getting started. Snippets now from my grounding affidavits and the Garda investigation. I am the appellant in this matter, and I make this affidavit from facts within my own knowledge, save where otherwise appears to be true, and where so appearing, I believe the same to be true to the best of my knowledge, information and belief. I make this affidavit to support my application for an order directing the Clerk of the Dáil to permit inspection of the marked electoral register for a purpose of a Garda investigation, pulse number 24817361, where I made a statement to An Garda Síochána on the 29th of November 2024. That was, folks, the night of the election. I beg to refer to a copy of the exhibit marked page 1 prior to swearing. So this, folks, is a copy of the Garda statement that I made in Castleisland Garda Station. I, Michelle Keane of Tarbert's Bridge, Knocknagoshel, Tralee, County Kerry, wish to make the following statement tonight at approximately 8:45 p.m. on the 29th of November 2024. I entered Turin-Cahill polling station, which I believe is known as Turin-Cahill Community Centre. When I entered the polling station, there was no one else present, only the polling clerk and the presiding officer. I noticed that the elderly dark-haired lady who was at the right facing me was tearing out ballot sheet papers from the ballot book. I counted 6 ballot papers torn out from the ballot book. The lady was nervous and started stating to me that she finds it very hard to tear out the pages out of the book. The lady also commented to me that there had been a huge turnout to vote in that particular booth. I noticed the ballot stamper was also on her table in front of her. I believe that ballot box has been compromised as a result of this happening. Signed, Michelle Keane. So that was the statement I made on election night before the count on the Saturday morning in Tralee. I am the appellant, Michelle Keane, made efforts to obtain access on the 14th of May, 20th of May, and on the 26th of May, 2025. I have made written requests to the Clerk of the Dáil, Mr. Peter Finnegan, Mr. Padraig Burke, the Returning Officer, the Electoral Commission, the Taoiseach Micheál Marking, seeking access to the marked register of elections for the aforementioned election and constituency. A copy of my request is exhibited here and marked with letter P4. Despite my request, I received no response from the Clerk of the Dáil, thereby exhausting all administrative avenues available to me to obtain the necessary information. I am the appellant, Michelle Keane, and say that the legal basis for my application, I respectfully submit that I have a copy of the manual for presiding officers for the 29th of November 2024, prepared by the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage for the guidance of presiding officers that I have in court for my possession today. I gave this copy of the manual for presiding officers, which the judge was astonished that even existed. She never knew it existed until I handed her that. That's stated out exactly the presiding officer's duties for the elections. I am the appellant, Michelle Keane, and say that the necessity of the order, the marked electoral register, is critical to the Garda investigation as it provides evidence of what happened, the torn ballot papers in Turin-Cahill polling station, voter participation, 500,000 plus names on the marked register who should not have been on it, which is essential to verify allegations of electoral fraud without access to the document. The investigation cannot proceed effectively, potentially undermining public confidence in the electoral system. I have exhausted all reasonable efforts to obtain the register through direct request, and I am left with no alternative but to seek release from this honourable court. Then, in a supplementary grounding affidavit, I state that I am the appellant, and that I say that on the state official ballot account papers in relation to polling station 61 Turin-Cahill Community Centre polling ballot box states that 350 is the total number of ballot papers entrusted to the presiding officer. The state of account of unused ballot papers was 130, and the state number of spoiled votes were, if any, 0. The state number of total ballot papers placed in the ballot box was 220. Now, what I meant there in that, by saying that, is I produced the evidence from the marked register of elections, the state ballot count, where the presiding officer got handed 350 ballot papers, and 220 of them were placed in the ballot box, and the presiding officer wrote 0 for spoilt votes. Now, how could the presiding officer in Turin-Cahill write 0 for spoilt votes, considering that I saw her tearing out the ballot papers and there were 6 ballot papers torn out on the desk in front of her? And how can Judge Emily Egan say no and make no order for the preservation of that critical information for the purpose of this Garda investigation? Like, folks, I am not letting this lie. I am going to explode, to get to the bottom of all of this, and I'm going to reveal everything over the next 4 videos to you. And this is going to be jaw-dropping, and this is going to help now with the public inquiry, because we need a public inquiry into this, because you, the Irish people, deserve better. Gora Míle Maith Agaibh.